Welcome to this MerryBody tutorial, basic oyster and sides. So we see this move a lot in our Pilates classes and we love it. So let's get it feeling nice and strong. So we're laying on our side, and in this case, we're laying on our right sides. And our knees are bent at a 90-degree angle. We want to make sure that the knees are directly out from the hips. So it's one straight line out in front of you. And then the heels are directly in line with the knees, all the way down, making that straight line. Knees are stacked on top of each other. So make sure they're in line. One isn't back and one isn't forward. And the reason why I say that is because number one thing to remember in our oyster is that our hips remain stacked, one on top of the other. It's as if I had a little pole through here and they just couldn't move. They just stay stacked.
Yeah, and it's really easy to roll back. So this is a good place to focus on.
It sure is. Let's check in with the ribs now and make sure that they're dropping down towards the hips. One thing to keep in mind is we want to draw the top hip away from the rib cage. How does that feel?
Like amazing, so much
good.
better.
Not only that, is we want to make sure this underside of the oblique is also switching on. So we do that by gently feeling a lift in the abdominals.
You can even just poke your side abdominal area and just check if your abs are switching on. Good way to test.
Love it. So Emma is resting her head in her hand and her shoulder is nice and strong. So she's not dumping into the shoulder, it's nice and strong. So you're pressing into this top of the arm that's on the earth. So this back of the arm, which is your tricep, you're pressing it into the earth as this allows a nice lift. You're using the top hand to keep you nice and stable. Again, this is going to really help you keep your hips stacked. Now, an option if you get any neck pain is to completely lay the head down on top of the bicep. This works just as well. So take your option. All right, so now we're feeling really stable in our starting position. Let's add some movement. So basic oyster is a lifting and an opening of this top knee. So we inhale to prepare, and then we exhale, lift the top knee, and peel this hip open. But remember, the hips stay stacked, so it won't open that much. It's just that feeling of opening. So really, really open it, open it, open it, open it, open it. Yes. And you want to squeeze the booty, and then you lower it to the ground. Another thing to keep in mind is pressing the feet together. This is really going to help you engage all of these leg muscles and the booty muscles. Inhale to prepare, exhale lift. There's no movement of these hips. There's no movement in this spine. She's just lifting and lowering the knee. Nice. At the same time, this entire leg is getting engaged and an awesome workout. So some other variations that we might see is a lifting of the entire leg. So of course, we keep all the cues that we just talked about in mind. It's just slightly different. The hips stay stacked, ribs towards the hips, belly in, hand keeping you nice and balanced. Another thing you might see is that leg go long over that knee. So you're extending the leg. Once again, there's a dip and a lift. These hips stay square. This belly's engaged. Yeah, we might even take it back. Once again, the hips stay stacked. The booty's engaged. One thing I want to remind you is that we focus on our technique over than our height. So if we come back to regular oyster, one thing you might feel like you want to do is really open up the knee and lift it high, and then we're going to roll back. So if we rather focus on our precision of our movement and our technique and feeling strong, we're going to get way more out of our workout. So don't worry if it doesn't go that high, it's all good. Once we get more open in the hips, it will go higher. Okay. Now the last oyster option we're going to take you through is Oyster Four. And this is where we inhale to prepare and we open the knees and lift the feet at the same time. The biggest thing I want you to keep in mind is keeping the lower knee on the earth. So the lower knee doesn't lift, it's just the top knee and both feet, all right? Both the hips stay stacked. Inhale to prepare, exhale, open the knees and lift the feet. So keep in mind this bottom knee is on the earth and really press the bottom thigh down into the earth. This will remind you to keep the knee grounded. Inhale, lower everything, and exhale, lift everything. Nice. All right, taking those legs nice and long now along your mat. One straight line all the way from head, shoulders, hips, heels, and toes. We keep in mind the exact same cues that we had before. The hips are stacked. The ribs drop down. This hand keeps you balanced. Resting head in hand. Everything is squeezed. And let's begin to dip and lift the feet. So we're really lengthening the feet long rather than focusing on lifting high. What's working here is all of this side body, including our side abdominals. How are you feeling?
Good. I love this. I love sides.
Any variation, for example, just lifting the top leg or just lifting the bottom leg, lower and lift. Maybe opening both legs and snapping them closed. Everything remains the same. The hips are stacked, the ribs drop down, belly is engaged, shoulder is pressing nice and strong down into the earth, or you can lower the head. Let's add one last variation of scissor kicking the legs, as this is now bringing in that lateral movement. We want to make sure that the hips remain square, stacked on top of each other. If we take the move too big, this is where we see us rolling around and losing our integrity. All right, have fun with that one, you guys. I think the best class for you to try will be Super Sides Pilates. Go ahead, try it out and let us know what you think. We'll see you soon on the mat. Bye.